Spinning wheel. There we go. Let's get these other Facebook groups in here. I think Chad does it a little differently. Who knows? See, when he was behind the scenes there, he's like, "Oh, you click those ones? I guess. I don't know. This is what you told me to do, Chad." All right, guys.
There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Absolutely, but hopefully you choose to do 0 ways of cat skinning because cats are nice and fluffy and are friends. Welcome in, guys. I have 2. I've had 5 in my life, so big fan of the pets, as I know you are, Scott, as well. Big fan of the animal lovers. We'll sit down and listen to some nature documentaries like nobody's business. That's what I do in the off season. It's a good time. Welcome in, guys. Way off tracks, way off the rails. Immediately, it is
early. We're off the rails early today.
Oh man, it's great. I love it. We have 17 eyeballs in here according to the thing, but no likes yet. Oh, here we got 2 likes. Thank you, Jose Marino and Gabriel Felix. Awesome. Welcome in. It is 6:36 where I'm at, 7:36 where most of you probably are in Broncos country. What, at 9:36 there for Scott? 10:36?
Yeah, but it's not a I'm still afraid to say it. It's not a geographical location. It's a state of being.
State of being, state of mind, and our state of being today is still stuck on the Rodgers Saga because for the first time in a while, I think we have some actual tangential evidence, some physical evidence that we are approaching a resolution, not a revolution. Gosh, world politics on the mind. So yeah, let's get into it, guys. Obviously, Broncos for breakfast. You can find Scott and I on Twitter. Scott is at Scout Kennedy, and I am at Nick Kendell MHH. Part of Mile High Huddle. Like our Facebook pages, subscribe, like, and share on YouTube. And let's say hello to people in the chat. Luke Wright, good morning, Nick and Scott. Today is good because it's leg day. Oh, Luke, good for you, buddy. I always think Von Miller. I always think of Von Miller when I do legs and do explosive leg workouts. Yeah, Von Miller, what a freak athlete. Those legs are incredible. I just built different, man. I could do no matter what I'd ever do in my life. I'd never be Von Miller. So good for him, I guess.
That's why I liked the NBA so much back in the day. I'm like, for the most part, I was a good athlete. I could get lucky and do most of the things that most of these guys could do. I could hit a home run. I've hit a softball 300 feet. I can hit a home run 350 feet. I could.
Yeah.
I could make a diving catch. I could throw a touchdown pass. Can't do any of that stuff with consistency, naturally, or else I'd be pro. I could do most of those things. I could drive a golf ball 300 yards. Didn't know where it was going, but every once in a while it goes straight. But not on my best day ever did I get up and dunk a basketball. I could jump up and grab the rim with 2 hands, but I couldn't dunk a basketball. So the athletic freakiness of the players, I just totally admired.
At my peak, I could get a volleyball.
Yeah, me too. I could get a volleyball. I couldn't get a basketball. I could palm a basketball, but I couldn't control it to get up that high.
Yep. Man, didn't win the genetic lottery in that sense, but hopefully winning the lottery here today with everybody coming in and joining us and having a good time. Diamond Rattler, boom, let's go. Good to see you. Always winning the lottery when Ethan's in here. Morning, gents in Broncos country. Hope you're doing well across the pond, Ethan. Don't even know what to say on that. Well, I guess we'll move right past that. Here's Scott Kennedy. Good morning, Scott. Let's get that coffee going.
That was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, 10 minutes ago. I've already had half my cup, so we're great.
It's cooled off now. That feels like a new name for me too. Coming in with some stars, Timothy D. Phillips. So welcome. Yeah. Appreciate you being here, and thank you for the contribution.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Ethan giving us a hard time saying still no Pookie. You'll have to take that up with Chad as far as adding players to the thing. I'm waiting. Let's wait until after the offseason, what that looks like before changing the banner, because they contract somebody out to take care of those. And who knows who the quarterback will be and what new players will be. I'd be honestly fine with just having Patrick Surtain up there. I mean, God, that's probably their best player right now. But
Aaron Rodgers.
Now, maybe Aaron Rodgers. We'll see. EJ in the house. Good morning, Nick and Scott in Broncos country. Great to see you. US Dave. Buenos dias, Broncos for breakfast. Awesome to see you. Chase complimenting the bands that you got to see yesterday.
And 7 Dust failed. I didn't realize that. I think that's why they moved. But and Tremonti only played 45 minutes, which was still awesome. But
yeah.
I was hoping he'd get at least an hour, considering that 7 Dust wasn't playing.
Yeah.
And I posted that on my main Twitter account, and he retweeted me with his Alter Bridge account, which is kind of cool. So
Alter Bridge. Okay.
Yeah, Tremonti's a lead guitarist. I mean, he's an amazing vocalist. It's crazy. He's got this real deep. I don't know the right terms for it. It's not like bass baritone, but it's.
It could be baritone.
It might be, but it's not high. The guy for Alter Bridge is definitely higher.
Yeah.
Like, how has he not been a lead forever? And he's a lead on his own.
Yeah.
In his own band. They're so good. My God, they're good.
I've been listening to a lot of Lord Huron, which is some Hollow Coves, so some of that more folky stuff. I like the stuff, something that makes me feel like I'm lost in the woods. Jarrett McAllister, good morning to you, Little Rand Man. It's been a hot second. Hope you're doing well. He says,
What he
"Good
says,
morning,
good
guys."
morning. It's been a while.
Yeah,
Welcome back. Welcome back.
really like the new hires. Good to hear that. We got the Little Rand Man approval, which is awesome. Go Broncos. Albert Knopper is always good to see. Albert, good morning, y'all. Too much coffee already.
Maybe.
Honest, there's no such thing. The limit does not exist. Miguel coming in. Good morning, fellas. Like I need enough coffee where I'm vibrating that it's just like you can see me humming on here. It's like, Nick, you're blurry. No, I'm vibrating. I've had that much coffee in my
If
system.
I could drink alcohol the way I drink coffee, I would. I can hit a limit with coffee. Like if I have too much coffee, I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, ooh, that was too much. Didn't like
Stomach.
that. That's not how it works with alcohol. With alcohol, it's where's my next one? Don't
Yeah.
get in my way of the next one. We're having another. I've always said the day I want one drink, I'll have one drink. It's been 25 years, so I don't want one. One would just piss me off. But coffee's my friend.
Coffee's good. Down there at Cafe Brit down in Costa Rica. Victor Rios in the house. Good morning, guys. Mark from Texas. Hope you're doing well, Mark. Good morning. Cold Texas. It's cold here in Seattle, too. We got more snow last night. Just a dusting, but I'm getting tired of scraping off my car. However, coming from the Midwest, driving out here, when I moved out here, I had my scraper and my brush. So I'm prepared. I'm walking the dog around in the morning yesterday. People using like credit cards to scrape off their car and like their sleeve. And I'm just like, you guys are not built for this. I don't know what's going on. Ronnie, this is a name I don't recognize as much. Good morning. Maybe it's a new picture. Ronnie Chavez. Good morning. So you guys were high school athletes. Awesome. But what's going on in the Broncos? Sorry, Ronnie. We like to have a little bit of a chit chat to start. I was honestly more of a high school musician, even cooler. So let's get into that, huh? C. Beeston. Good morning, everybody. Clayton Huron. We got Gary Neighbors. Goodbye. Go Broncos. Tommy Simmers in the house. There we go. Trevor Sandel, Clayton Huron, Kalen Green, CC. We got everybody in here. Howler Surf Bro. Let's get into it. Aaron Rodgers report coming in here
Just
today.
right up the road. So Facebook user, you must be coming in on one of the other channels and not the Mile High Huddle one because it's just showing up as Facebook user. So introduce yourself when you come back in and say, because Athens, Georgia is just right up the road. And speaking of coffee, Mark Schrader coming in with some coffee. Thank you, my friend. Always supportive of the show. And go ahead, Nick. Get us started.
Yeah. So I first started playing high school sports when I'm just kidding. I had to tease there. Dianna Russini coming in today, ESPN with the first, I would say, tangible report coming on the Aaron Rodgers saga in a bit. No teasing, nothing around that. We obviously, I guess we did have some information from Brian Gutekunst Wednesday as well with their presser, but we can get into that too because that pivots off of this. So Dianna Russini says Aaron Rodgers will be informing the Packers of his decision soon, per league sources, multiple there. I'm told there are multiple teams with offers on the table, but of course, nothing can happen until Green Bay allows a trade. So that is obviously some information coming there. And as far as Green Bay allowing a trade, there were rumors last year that I don't know who said it exactly, so I can't give anybody credit for this, but Brian Gutekunst, the Green Bay Packers general manager, agreed that if Rodgers wanted to be traded after last year, he would find a partner. Now that doesn't sound like that's the case. He's like, oh, we're not sure what's going to happen with Rodgers. We can't speak on that. We're going to try to work it out. And the Green Bay Packers keep making more space and keep making more space. So we'll see what happens there. I am still of the belief that Aaron Rodgers is going to be back with the Packers next season. But because of this information where we are approaching a resolution of sorts, I guess that door is creaked back open a tad.
Well, and part of it is you want as many options as possible. It enhances your negotiate from a position of strength.
Mm-hmm.
If I say we're dumping this guy, it helps if they really do have multiple offers on the table. 2 is good, 3 is better, 4 is better, 5 is even better. And then you can drive up that price. But you can always add one more team to the mix of available teams, and that's the Green Bay Packers. So, hey, listen, you're going to meet our price. Y'all ever watch the auto auctions on the Mecum auto auctions or anything? The reserve is off. Well, they got a reserve price. And the more likely they are to keep them, the higher that reserve price can be. It's like, you're going to meet this price or we're not selling. So that's always an option that they're going to play publicly, without a doubt. So until Aaron Rodgers forces their hand, which, he might.
He might force their hand. Like I said, I'm excited that I'm just exhausted, Scott. I don't know about you, but the Aaron Rodgers stuff, I am just so over it. Would I love it if he came to Denver? Yes. Do I like to have the hope that that option is still available? Yes, no doubt about that, because the other options are milk toast at best. Paying multiple 20, $30 million for Jameis Winston.
I would say, I mean,
Marcus.
your best free agent option right now is probably Jameis Winston.
Yeah. And now we have Benjamin Albright yesterday uh, talking about, hey, Broncos fans, get to know the name Mitchell Trubisky. Oh, come on. Oh, pain. Endless pain. And those are the time. Marcus Mariota, Mitch Trubisky, Jameis Winston, all former top 2 picks respectively. So there is some talent there, no doubt about it. Obviously, none of those guys hit as far as their draft status, but you could do a lot worse. God, it's the cost the cost you're getting per return and the
Mhm.
multiple years of control. And if you can bring in any of those guys for me for like a 2-year deal where next year 2023 is easy-ish to get out of because of the way the cap's set up, the way the contract's set up with the guarantees, and it's not limiting your cap so much where you can't improve the defensive front, bring in a right tackle, bring in an off-ball linebacker, bring in a nickel cornerback, like that, those kind of things, then I can be okay with it. It's not great. I can live with it. But if you're making moves to the extent where you're losing future flexibility, where like you can't go after quarterback next year, or you're stuck with them for
Like
years
the
after,
Vikings did with Kirk Cousins.
yes, like the Vikings with Kirk Cousins. I mean, at least Kirk puts up viable statistics. I'm thinking
No.
more like Sam Darnold and Carson Wentz, which is
Yeah.
like crapping your pants level of quarterback decision.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz wasn't terrible. I mean, he was, again, I feel like we get a little uppity about other quarterbacks on this show, considering how poor the quarterback play has been in Denver.
I
When
have
we
a
start,
theory on this. I have a theory. Two theories. I've been thinking about this. I'm
okay.
sorry to interrupt you, but like it has to do with Peyton Manning and John Elway set the bar really high.
Mhm.
It's also because you look across the division and the bar is
Right.
Derek Carr. If you're not reaching Derek Carr level quarterback, you're not doing bleep. I mean, Vic Fangio said that on what essentially was his exit press conference. So maybe we are a little uppity, but it's because I think they realize you have to be uppity in the AFC West or you're going absolutely nowhere fast.
Yeah, there's ways to get better without, selling your future.
Yeah,
Without
I agree.
giving everything up. There's ways to get better. It's like, oh, well, Kirk Cousins. I'm like, Kirk Cousins is an instant upgrade.
Oh, big
Now,
time.
but the cost. Okay, well, you're not going to pay that. You're not going to pay 35 million for Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was 27-7 last year on his touchdowns to interception ratio. That's the same interceptions as Bridgewater with 10 more touchdowns. And,
Yep.
Drew Lock is a 1-to-1 guy his entire career. He ain't all that bad.
No.
Again, so there's some of that in there. But again, you look at the free agent quarterbacks, you're like, is Jameis Winston my best option? Yeah, probably. Well, I don't want to pay free agent prices for Jameis Winston, for God's sakes. And then, I see people in here, they say, well, forget all this. Let's just draft a guy. Yeah, it's so easy. Just draft him. Draft him. Magical. Man, if it was only so easy as to just draft a quarterback, meaning you would then have your quarterback, everybody would have quarterbacks. Man, it's not that easy. That's why we've been so adamant about the idea. If it doesn't cost you, you can't hurt your team to acquire a player like Rodgers. It defeats the purpose.
Yep.
If I'm giving up 3 first-round picks and a starter, that's too much. That hurts your team. That doesn't make it. The reason why you're bringing in Aaron Rodgers to win a Super Bowl, that hurts your chances to win a Super Bowl while Aaron Rodgers is here. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But if you can get it and use 2 firsts and maybe throw in a player, that's my limit. 2 firsts and a starter level guy that you send that direction. Yeah, you've got your quarterback for at least 2-3 years. It's like, well, what if he retires? And Scott, make one of those conditional. Make your 2023 conditional. Green Bay, if you'll get a first round pick for every year he plays.
Yeah.
So I'm going to offer you 3. And if he's tier 3, you get 22, 23, and 24. If not, you keep our 22 and we're keeping these. So, make those conditional.
Yeah, absolutely. And Diamond Rattler coming in with one of my favorite quotes. Mornings are for coffee and contemplation. Quote of Officer Hopper in Stranger Things. And God bless. I say that. I need a shirt that says that when I come into the office in the morning. I'm sitting there drinking my, 3rd cup of coffee or something. I'm still contemplating. I'm still thinking about it. Nathan coming in here with the support. Thank you so much, Nathan. You're always love you. If you have any questions over on Facebook too, again, we appreciate the support, but if you're going to be giving us stars, we should definitely be getting to what you want to talk about as well. And coming in here as well, we got the DWI guys saying, doesn't matter if Brian Gutekunst, we talked enough Packers that I can say his name now. Gutekunst says that he didn't agree to trade Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers holds all the cards with $46 million in cap hit. Okay, go ahead and kill your roster to fit his cap. Adams, another $20 million, 2023 void, get leverage. So the Packers have made a good bit of cap space over the last 48 hours. I think it was Kenny Clark. They kicked a bunch of money back on his deal. And if you guys don't know Kenny Clark, he's a former first-round pick, UCLA, defensive tackle, nose tackle. He's one of probably the top best 10 defensive linemen in football. Am I off on that?
No. He was in California when I was in California.
Yeah.
And this dude at 260-pound high school was playing middle linebacker as a 7v7.
Oh.
I'm like, I want him.
Yeah, he's
he was playing 7-on-7 middle linebacker. Kenny Clark was.
Yeah, I loved him. I
that was when I got confused when Kenny Young came over. I'm like, that's not the same. It was Kenny Clark.
Yeah,
260-pound middle linebacker playing 7v7. I'm like, yeah, that's a Pro Bowl defensive tackle waiting to happen.
Yep. He's awesome. Really good player. That Packers team, man, they have building blocks all along that defense. They really do. I'm really no matter what happens with Aaron Rodgers, it'll be fun to watch to see what they do on that defensive side of the ball. And somebody that you're going to hear me mention a lot probably over the draft season for as long as the Broncos have their 9th overall pick, Rashawn Gary is the name that I'm going to be saying because, hey, Trevon Walker almost matches his athletic profile to a T. So we'll see if that plays out, but I think he could fit here. Obviously the Packers are making a move. The other one was Aaron Jones. They put in 2 voidable years at the end, I think is what
they converted this year's salary into a signing bonus. And but the thing is to Ethan's point here on the super, they cleared up about 12 million. I think that's probably what the 12-1-2 is. So they cleared up about 12. They're still way over.
Yeah.
So my question on this is like, you're not going to be able, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be there, you're not going to be very good. Because you're not going to be able to get the guys to come in and play, and you can't rebuild the roster, et cetera, like you're saying. Mm-hmm. But does Aaron Rodgers, will he just be happy just mailing it in? And because if he retires, his money clears. That might be the single best, other than getting a huge return for Aaron Rodgers, would be him retiring, because then that money comes off the cap. In fact, I think he's got to pay back his signing bonus. You can decide on that type of stuff. But when they retire, Barry Sanders, when he retired, he had to pay back portions of his signing bonus. Yeah. That happens. Most guys retire because they don't have another contract coming and they're done. They're at the end of their 5th consecutive 1-year deal. Yeah. But he would that would be very good for him. But I don't see. Zach says he's seeing retirement. People are reading into this retirement. I don't see it. What I do see though is Michael Ronquillo coming in with 10,000 stars. 10,000 stars this morning. You have been awesome, Michael. And I said, I want you to email me, Skinnity, S-K-I, because all my redneck buddies at Auburn called me Skinnity, at gmail.com, because I want to get you something of your choice for Broncos for breakfast, whether you want a big mug or a hat, you let me know. So just send me an email with your address and go look at huddleuppod.com and pick something so I can send it to you, because you've made our month for sure, my friend, without a doubt. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We also Mark Schrader supporting us here. Thank you so much, Mark. We got Salving Nation. Great to see you. Good morning, friends. Hey, Scott, thanks for yesterday's video. The 400-pound guys. Impressive. So it must be on Daniel Falele.
Yeah, should we share that real quick? So Salvy's talking about this. Let me bring that up. And I can show that directly here. So rather than like going to
somebody cue the Godzilla
page, it is on my page. I put that. That's where he saw it. But Daniel Falele, 390-pound dancing bear, right tackle. I like how he gets out there. You see how he got out to the edge on that play?
Yeah.
He's lined up almost with a tackle over his top, and he was able to step out and get him. If he gets his hands on you, this thing's over. I mean, it's done.
Yeah.
Just by sheer size and reach, with his feet planted, he's tough to beat.
Yeah. Because
he's got a 7'2" wingspan. Hey, where'd Tyreek go? I don't know. I haven't seen him. I think Daniel ate him.
Somebody cue up the song Godzilla. Daniel Falele. I don't think he's a great scheme fit for the Broncos, because you're asking your offensive tackles to get into space in this outside zone scheme. And just a little quick scouting note from what I've seen from Falele, the Gophers run a very RPO-centric passing scheme, which really simplifies reads and blocking assignments for their offensive linemen instead of the true dropback sets that you kind of saw in practice there. And with Falele, I felt like he gave up his inside shoulder pretty consistently. He was getting beat across his face. You get him with a good offensive line coach, tell him, man, dude, just don't give up that inside and trust your length and feet on the outside. You're going to be okay. Like you're going to be okay. I see Trent
You
Brown
see how
when
well
I
he
watch
can
him.
move at 6'8", 390 pounds. And if his weight fluctuates like a normal person, he's between 380 and 400 on any given day. I'd like to see him at 360.
Yeah.
With those feet and that athleticism and those and yes, and there's a reason why he's in the 50s and not the teens. I posted that around through different Facebook groups and stuff. And they're like, I'd rather have Trevor Penning. I'm like, morons. Trevor Penning was mocked at 6. I'm talking 56. Not every pick is the first round. Not every pick that you talk about is for a top 10 pick. There are other picks. You can't say that online, but this is a much more fun medium to say, because I can say, hey, morons, I'm talking second round here.
Yeah. Yep. Morans. We got Luke coming in saying, bring on Marcus Mariota, the Oregon GOAT. It's unfortunate he'd be the second best Oregon quarterback in the division, but it is what it is. Victor Rios coming in with the support and the stars. Love you, man. It's great to see you. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you got any questions for us, please get at us. Also, don't want to pat myself on the back here, because sometimes people take way too much credit for like seeing obvious talents. Like, listen, other people are going to find this guy too. I'm just first here because I'm watching Western Michigan on a Saturday morning because my wife is working and I got nothing else to do. But also, Broncos fans may want to start looking at potential day 3 pick Caleb Ellaby. Per Albright, Nick's boy Ellaby on the Broncos radar. Broncos' current tight end coach was the offensive coordinator for the Western Michigan Broncos from 2017 to 2020. He recruited Ellaby to Western Michigan. And you want to watch some fun football last year? Pitt versus Western Michigan. Ellaby versus Kenny Pickett, back and forth. Guess who wins? Ellaby. Obviously, quarterback wins aren't a thing, but pretty awesome to see. I think Pitt ended up winning the ACC too. So Western Michigan going into Pitt and beating Kenny Pickett and those Panthers is a pretty impressive performance.
I want to hit on our friend Blank916 from Twitch. He's been fired up this morning. He's about had it with the Rodgers talk. He's had it. He says, you guys seriously think Rodgers is coming to a last place team in this division with no line, no tight ends, no owners, a first-time head coach, new systems, new coaches? Smack my head. I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's a great possibility, but I think it's a possibility. I think a lot of things have to happen in favor of the Broncos for this to happen, but I don't think it's a definite no. Yeah. A last place team in the division, okay, I'll give you that one. No tight ends, I disagree with that one. I think Fant and Okwuegbunam are pretty good.
Yeah.
No owners, who cares? They're not sitting down to meet with the owners anyway. As long as the money flows, the quarterback's going to be happy. A first-time head coach, yeah, but his first-time head coach. New systems, not to him. New coaches, not to him. It's a possibility. I don't necessarily think I wouldn't put a lot of money on it. I'd affect the odds. If I'm setting odds, it would definitely be for him not coming. But I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's impossible at all.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I got to come in here with Ethan calling you out on this one because I was laughing. SMH, shake my head. Smack my head works way better. I am 100% with you on that, but that was awesome. God, smack my head, Scott. I'm there with you. That's where I'm at in this offseason too, especially if I have to watch substandard quarterback play again in the AFC West when everybody else has a top 10.
I said smack my head. Did I say smack my head?
You said smack my head.
Yeah, I know it's shake my head. I do know that one. I may have even done this. I do know that one. That's just that's a live read error. I do know that one.
No,
but the worst one though was my mom used to sign everything LOL. And I just kind of played it off, lots of love until she was telling me that, one of our relatives had died. And I'm like, Mom, LOL means laugh out loud. I'm like, or, some distant person, she's like, oh, so-and-so, my family's huge. They breed a lot in Ohio. So as you know, the Midwest,
it's cold in the winter. What are we going to do?
Lots of children. My dad had 4 brothers. My mom had 3 sisters, and it just goes anyway. Yeah. So not to laugh at the fact that she had told me that some distant person I didn't remember had died, but she signed it LOL. And I'm like, Mom, that's laugh out loud. So
Smack my head,
that
Mom.
was
Come
that
on.
was one of those general. But I do know that one means shake. Smack
Yeah.
is what I've been wanting to do to people all morning since we've been
Yeah.
talking about morons. So I had
Yeah.
smacking people on my head.
Yeah. Watching a little bit of Daniel Flele too, smacking some heads as well. Let's get into that one that we had there from Eric Weber. Morning MHH and Broncos country.
Yeah,
Packers
thanks
can
for
try
the
to
stars,
make.
Eric.
Thank you so much, Eric. We appreciate you. Packers can try to make cap room, but still have to cut a bunch of big time players to get there. I'd rather not mortgage our future for an aging quarterback, Aaron Rodgers 12, to be stuck with the same scenario in 2 to 3 years. Just not seeing another decent option aside from sucking another year and finding a quarterback in the draft next year. Ugh. I hear you, Eric. I'm with you as far as like what comes after Rodgers, but this is, I remember pretty acutely, this was also an argument for not bringing in Peyton Manning. We need to stick with Tim Tebow because imagine if Peyton Manning retires 3 years from now, 4 years from now. 3 or 4 years in the NFL is a long time. And guess what? When you're playing good football, that can be a very meaningful and enjoying blip of time. So you're telling me that I can spend the next 2 to 3 years without having to argue about which quarterback is the lesser of the suckage options? Sign me up. Take then at least like the odds are, unfortunately, you're talking about, we'll be in the same scenario 2 to 3 years from now. If you don't bring in Aaron Rodgers, I would say it's more likely that we're still talking about the same scenario over those 2 to 3 years and beyond, because it's hard to find good quarterbacks.
Well, and here's my question on this, because we all agree with this line. I'd rather not mortgage our future for an aging quarterback. We all agree with that.
Yeah.
The question is, what's the line?
Yep.
At what point does it become mortgaging your future? You just heard me say what I thought the line was. 3 first rounders is too much. So if I say it is for me, that's my line. So if I say 2 first rounders and throw in Pat Surtain, that was the discussion we had on Huddle Up the other day. That's too much for me because that's basically 2 first rounders and a hit at first round already. That's too much for me.
Yeah. What is Patrick Surtain worth an equivalent to, in your opinion? Like,
In
is
this
he
draft,
2
the
first
number
round
one
picks?
overall, for goodness sakes.
I mean, because you're
yeah,
right. He's
number
a hit.
1 in Pat Surtain. You said, hey, send me 9 and Pat Surtain for Aaron Rodgers. Ooh, yeah, I'd probably do that one. I'd probably do that one. I'm not sending you my 2023 to go with it. Like I said, so what's the line? What is your line? Because 2 first rounders is not mortgaging the future when you're getting your quarterback for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Because when he's ready to go, you got a first round pick again.
Yep.
Now you can start building your future again. So that's my question for everybody that has this. No way. It's too expensive. Well, what's too expensive? What's your line? That's something I put out to you in the chat.
Yeah, I agree. And just Surtain in a vacuum with how he's still, I think he's only going to be 22 years old this year. So he's still one of the younger players in the league. He's already, in my opinion, a top 10 to 15 level cornerback. Now, because his technique is already so refined, I don't know if he has as much room to go as far as ceiling. Like, he's not going to turn into Deion Sanders, Joel Revis athlete. But the technique and everything is so calm and collected. And I think he'd even be better if they use him in more press and bail situations going forward, because this press man technique is, I mean, as good as like I've seen from a young cornerback coming out in a while. I'm honest with that. So I think he is worth easily 2 firsts. Maybe, and it depends on where those firsts are.
2 firsts and Pat Surtain for Rodgers.
That's too much. Yeah, that is too much. Especially with the age. If you're talking about Russell Wilson, I'm giving that up because you're talking about 8 years. I know it hurts to give up Surtain in that scenario, but I don't know. He's really good, and I think he can be a long-term building block at one of the. You're talking about the next 9 years of having one of your cornerback positions locked up with a top 10 player.
Yeah, I'm done with injury. May he be blessed with be injury free.
Yes.
Because that's the big one there. But again, what's the line? We all agree with that line.
Yep.
All of us. It's like politics. We all agree that we'd want, services and good education. We all agree on that.
Yep.
How do we get there? We disagree greatly on how we get there.
Yeah.
So again, I'd love to Aaron Rodgers here. I don't want to hurt the future of the team to do it. But I don't think 2 first round picks is hurting the future of this team. I think you got your quarterback for 2 years. And when Rodgers if he were to come, he played 2 years, played 3 years, you're adding first round picks back.
Yep.
By the time you either get him a first round pick in his last year, or he's gone, and I've got my first round picks after 2 years and he's gone. 3 is too many for me. I wouldn't go 3. I wouldn't.
I would consider 3 if I'm a big fan of and you mentioned it earlier, I'm a huge fan of the conditional picks
Mhm.
because then a certain scenario has to play out, and then it is worth it. Like you're
Right.
building in a little bit of
If I get 3
security.
years for him, then I've got to pick every you get a first round pick for every year for Aaron Rodgers
Yep.
for 3 years. Okay. And then when he's gone from the Denver Broncos, I've got my first round pick back. I got
Yep.
my full draft back. We just had 3 years of Aaron Rodgers, God willing, a Super Bowl or two. Who knows? I didn't give up any of my pieces to build this team right now because I've got a good core. I've got some lower picks I can fill. I've got free agency money out the freaking yin yang. Now, Aaron Rodgers would take a big chunk of that, not all of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, what's too much? I don't think 2 first round picks is too much. And again,
No.
if I know I can get 3 years on a conditional, I don't think that's too much.
Yeah, and
The
also the
point
two
is
first
when you
round
start
picks.
giving up stuff when you're Indy and you want to cut when you're Indianapolis Colts and you want to cut Carson Wentz and you don't have a first round pick this year because you gave it up last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem.
Or the Carolina Panthers, 5th-year option guaranteed on Sam Darnold, and they're only picking the top 100 for a team devoid of offensive talent, needing offensive line help really badly. They only have 6, and
But
everything
what's
else is
but what's the bigger problem, Nick, with Carson Wentz? Not that you gave up the pick. It's the fact that you don't like him.
yeah. There's something that
They-
stinks there. There's
It's
something
the
that
it's the
really
myth.
stinks.
It's
Yeah.
the guy that you don't think can play for your team that kills you.
Yep.
Not the guys that you don't get. It's the guys you get and can't play. Those
Yeah.
are the ones that kill you. And that's why they're not hurting because they gave up a pick. They're hurting because the guy they wanted to get can't play for them.
Yeah. Although giving up the pick means that it's harder to be aggressive in obtaining a guy, no doubt. You're losing cards, right? It's
But again, the trade-off there is free agency money. They got $40 million in cap room.
yeah.
If they wanted Carson Wentz, they could build around him. They don't want him.
Yeah. Yep.
They could build around him. Unfortunately, they look at free agent quarterbacks and go, damn.
Yeah. Yep. Matthew Beatty coming in here saying, would you guys like Sauce Gardner if we were to trade back? I think that if you are trading, okay, first Sauce Gardner, 6'3", where's number 1? Yeah, we'll see what his official measurement is, but he's a pterodactyl. He's a massive
6'2".
Yeah, 6'2" is big for the cornerbacks. You're talking 90th percentile, 95th percentile. So he's really long, press man cornerback. I don't like him as much when he is tasked with off coverage. And also I think his transition to the league is going to be not poor. That's the wrong word, but he's very aggressive down the field, beyond 5 yards, which you can get away with in college football and high school football. In the NFL, if you're mugging guys down the field and pushing them off their route before the ball is even thrown, that's a penalty. That's illegal contact. So he's going to have to learn to trust himself down the field without using his hands. Yeah. I mean, I guess until you get to the playoffs.
Grab him. If you're a receiver, you can do that. I'll grab you by the face mask and chuck you to the ground.
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I mean, they made a year off of it here in Cincinnati. Not to disparage them. They're good players.
Not the first ones.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But Sauce Gardner, he's going to have to learn to trust his positioning without using his hands down the field. But a lot of people in the NFL circles, and we'll find out a lot more. The combine is, it's less than a week away from kicking off. We're going to have a lot of new information coming from the combine because it's not just people like the made for TV. What the fans get to see is the events happening, the drills, et cetera, et cetera. The money for the combine, the real value of the combine for us in the media is the exchange of information that happens after hours when people have had a few drinks and are sitting there listening to John Elway talk to Mike Kliss.
That's why I always miss out on all that stuff. I'm in bed at 9:30.
Yeah.
Like I miss. You'd be surprised how much I've missed in business because I'm not out there drinking with the boys,
rubbing elbows,
11 o'clock at night.
It's a big thing. It really is such a massive.
I look a lot better in the morning though.
I don't. No comment on that one. Smack my head. But Sauce Gardner.
My comment on this, Nick, for Matthew, before we grab a couple new other supers, is I don't know that you can trade back and get Sauce Gardner. And if you want Sauce Gardner, I think you better stick at 9 and take him.
Yep, 100%. I agree with you on that one, 100%. What I was getting to is we're going to find out a lot more after the combine with new information, but it seems like a lot of the people who are connected to those in the league, the decision makers, these people who are the big time draft media folks, Dane Brugler, Lance Zierlein, Mel Kiper, blah, blah, blah. They're talking constantly on the phone with league sources, scouts, decision makers, and almost all of these guys have Sauce Gardner cornerback 1 and going in the 5 to 14 range in the draft. So I don't think if Sauce is your guy, you probably got to take him at 9. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he is the guy, given he is very much a press man corner. And Ejiro Evero, I don't know how much you listened to the press conference, but he said we're going to be doing a lot of things that the Broncos did last year with Vic Fangio, but he's going to match his scheme to the personnel. So Fangio historically really liked off coverage. The Rams used the most off coverage in football last season as well compared to any other team. So I don't know if Sauce is going to be the best fit. That said, though, if you have two press man cornerbacks, maybe you just say we're going to live in a cover 3, cover 1 world because we have two freaks. Like nobody has Surtain and Sauce Gardner type of athletes on the boundary. We're going to do what's best for us. So I don't know. It's really hard to know what Evero and the Broncos are going to want to do given we're just kind of assuming what the scheme is going to look like.
Yeah, with this pick, and I said it last year, as you well remember, I think you go with the best guy, not necessarily the best fit. It's like, oh, we like this guy better, but we passed on him because he didn't quite fit what we were trying to do. No. If you've got a guy that you like a lot better, you're drafting for the next 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
If you have Evero in Denver in 3 years, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. I'll be surprised if he's there in 2025. Let alone, the guy you draft in this class is going to be there longer than his defensive coordinator. It's just the way it's just the way the business works. So while I was pounding on the door for Surtain last year, I was like, I don't care what Fangio does, and I'm new to the Broncos. We started talking about this last April. So this is my philosophy. It has always been my philosophy because this is the way general managers think. So I know that Vic Fangio is coming off two losing seasons with a new general manager. I'm not drafting a guy for him.
Yeah.
I'm drafting a guy for the next 10 to 12 years, and it ain't going to be him. He's too old, even if he does turn it around. Jacob Foster coming in with more stars. We can't thank you enough, Jacob. And Aaron Johnson coming in with a nice little story here. It says, my wife and I will be visiting Denver next week. Going to take her on the tour of Mile High Stadium for the first time ever. We're current Pacific Northwest residents, former Colorado, and always Broncos fans. So Mile High Huddle for life and go Broncos. And man, when I first moved to California, I bought my parents a sling box and put it because that was the only way I could really watch, the long stuff TV. The technology and then coming out of the Stone Ages and making the games and all this stuff available to folks all around the world is so much greater. So even though you've moved, you're still a part of Broncos country here. So have fun in Colorado. Hope the weather is nice for you.
Yeah, awesome. And also, hello, fellow Pacific Northwest resident. Sorry it's been so cold here, but we're inching our way to spring and summer. I'm ready for it. Wesley Algie saying, is Pickett an option in the draft? I think Pickett is an option in the draft. My understanding is that Pickett would be the Broncos' number one. And again, this is from second-hand sources. I'm not talking to George Payton. He's not returning my calls. What a jerk. I think he blocked me. Smack my head. But is Pickett an option in the draft? He would be the number one guy on the Broncos board based on tape and everything that's happened so far. He's a great scheme fit. I think for the West Coast offense. But from what I've heard, the Broncos have very stringent and specific hand size thresholds. I don't know what the number is. A lot of teams' standard is 9.25. They can live with 9, but sub 9 is almost unheard of. George Payton, apparently, from what I've been told, has strict hand size thresholds. So Pickett is an option, but if his hands do measure 8.25 inch, which is a historical outlier, I don't know if he is an option then. Unless, again, this is from what I've been told, unless Nathaniel Hackett and somebody on offensive staff bangs the table for him, they might overlook it in that case. But right now, the hand size is a non-starter from what I've been told.
And Ruben coming in with some stars. This gets a little long. But it's basically, am I the only one that's still interested in Drew Lock? I like the idea of him coming in with a new coach. I like his arm talent. I think he has the potential to be pretty special. No, you're not the only one. Everybody's interested. Everybody, that guy that goes out and runs a 4.3 gets chance after chance after chance after chance. That guy that throws a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, even though he can't control it, you're always intrigued by the physical tools. Now, can it come back together? They finally hit on it last night talking about, pairing a veteran quarterback with a new one if they bring in. Well, Drew Lock is a veteran quarterback. He's been in the league this will be his 4th season. Yeah. He is one of those veteran quarterbacks, got a couple dozen starts or thereabouts. So the problem I end up having on this is the revisionist history that he was something that he hasn't been. He has never been a good quarterback for Denver, and that's okay. That doesn't mean he can't be, but he hasn't been. Yeah. And there's no guarantee that if these things happen, Ruben, if he had a coach that believed in him and went, there's no guarantee that he would be a top 10 quarterback now. So again, if it was just that easy, everybody would have a good quarterback. So I am very interested in seeing Drew Lock coming in with a fresh start and a new set of eyes and all those type of things, assuming he gets that chance. Because if they go out and get a quarterback that is significantly better than Drew Lock, then he's back up again, and he may request a trade, which that's okay. You're then good as a Denver Bronco fan. You're excited about who you brought in, and you wish Drew Lock and health and happiness, and hope he does well when he moves on. But there are no guarantees, and he hasn't shown enough to even make you think that he's going to be the guy yet. But yes, we're all intrigued, all of us, and we hope for the best. Seems like a good dude.
Yeah, and congratulations to him again on the recent engagement to his now fiance. I believe her name is Natalie.
He's still winning life as far as he's putting a couple $1 million in the bank. Just got engaged. He's still winning life.
Yep, absolutely. And there's a reality out there where Drew Lock next year is the starting quarterback because the Broncos bring in a Marcus Mariota, a Tyrod Taylor, and Andy Dalton, and Drew Lock beats them in a camp competition. Which, if that's the case, awesome. Let's see what it looks like. We'll see what 2022 plays like. He's going to have to go in and earn the spot because he's a day 2 pick who has 21 starts so far in his career, and his statistical output for the most part has been poor. However, that being said, last year, the last 3 games, he came in, he ran the offense, and he protected the ball. I'd have to sit there in the meeting room with the coaches and the players to understand if Drew Lock's play in those was limited because he was trying to protect the ball so much, so you're losing those explosive plays, or if that was handcuffs / training wheels from the coaching staff, et cetera, et cetera. The run game also did plummet with Drew Lock going in there, which I think is interesting because everybody's argument was bigger armed quarterback means more space to run. I'm thinking that actually a quarterback who understands box numbers and checking into the proper runs is probably more valuable. And maybe Drew Lock was not as good as that as Teddy Bridgewater. That was one of the big things, my understanding, in deciding to go with Bridgewater versus Lock out of training camp. But who knows? Again, we're not working with all the pieces, but Drew Lock's here. He's young. He's talented. And if they don't bring in a obvious upgrade, to your point, Scott, he's going to get a shot. And good luck to him. I hope the best man wins. And if it's Lock, off to the races. Hope he's great next year because that'd be best for everybody.
Yeah, I rarely root against a player. I think there's one Atlanta Falcon I've ever rooted against in my entire life. Cornerback D'Angelo Hall. It's the only one I've ever said. He gets an interception. How many of you watched Ted Lasso? He got an interception return for a touchdown, went to the corner of the end zone and went with the me routine.
Yep.
One of his defensive linemen was going to congratulate him and turned around and walked to the bench.
Yep.
Just walked off. He's the only one, Chris Johnson, Atlanta Braves, just bad attitudes. We all root for Drew Lock. We want him to succeed. We'd be thrilled if he does.
Yep.
Nothing against him. But like I said, the only time I start really rolling my eyes is with the revisionist history. He's lost like 7 of his last 8 starts. Yes, I know the coaching, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he was really good in the last 3 games. No, he wasn't. He had like an 85 quarterback rating. He threw 1 touchdown in 3 games and went 0-3. Again, you're grasping at straws here. Can he be this guy? Yes, I'll give you that. There's no proof that he can't be, that it's not impossible. But the revisionist history is that's where I just start getting a little annoyed. Mark Schrader coming in with more stars, saying, "What do you think of Kenyon Green?" I'm gonna lean on you with this one, Nick. Does he fit the new scheme? Is he just a guard, or do you think he can play right tackle?
Okay, so I had I had a coach reach out to me, and we were talking a little bit of offensive line, and for the guard specifically, displacement can be really key for one of your guard positions. So this was somebody saying that don't totally quit on Netane Moody yet. Maybe he's not the best space mover, but Brandon Brooks for the Philadelphia Eagles at right guard for a number of years was not the world's best athlete. Now, granted, he was between the literal best athletes at their position in sports at Lane Johnson at right tackle and Jason Kelsey at center. So that could help mask a little bit of Brandon Brooks' athletic deficiencies, and he could just be a hog and move guys. Maybe that situation is too rare to replicate. But Kenyon Green as a guard fit, I think, in the zone, I think it could happen. Would I use a top 25, 20 pick on him? No, I'm not going to use that pick on a guard. I'm sorry, guys. And is he a guard or a tackle? We'll see what his measurements come in at. I know he's played maybe all 5 spots at Texas A&M, But my understanding is he's going to be right at that threshold of 33-ish arm length, and he's not an incredible mover in space. So I think he is probably a guard. He'd be fine in the scheme. It's just going to be more costly than I'm willing to pay.
Yeah, I'd rather take a guard instead of taking a guard. Let's say you traded down. I'd rather have 3 picks in the second round than Kenyon Green in this draft. Give me 3 of the edge guys. One of them's going to pan out. I'd rather take 3 shots in the second round than have Kenyon Green right now. If that was possible, that becomes a trade down scenario for me.
Yep.
Jane Daniels coming in with some stars with the coffee. I love the coffee emoji. I really do. Speaking of which, I'm about empty. Says, good morning, Nick and Scott. Good morning, Shane. Thank you for joining us today. And Smokey coming in. That feels like a new name to me because when I said that, my dog's ears perked up. And I know that because his ears are the size of satellite dishes. He hears everything. That's my dog's name. So it says, but hey, if he's coming to Denver, I'm looking forward to getting all your future asset for a guy who's not been to the Super Bowl since 2011. Now, this does not sound like someone who is very interested in Aaron Rodgers heading to Denver Broncos. So yeah, it's been 10 years since he's been to the Super Bowl. That must all have been Aaron Rodgers' fault. It's all Matt Ryan's fault in Atlanta, based on what I read. So it's all on the quarterback. You know what they say. They get too much credit when they win and too much blame when they lose. So, and when you haven't done it and you're making $40 million a year and you're on TV and you are the quarterback, one of 32 of the most high profile jobs in sports, in the sports world, you're going to get takes like this.
Yep.
I'm pretty interested in Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a hell of a player.
Yeah, and Smokey also said he's not going to Denver. Why are you all so desperate? Get over it. It's not happening. One day, Smokey, you as a Packer fan are going to understand that not having a future Hall of Fame quarterback sucks the biggest way. I mean, it's continuous vacuum cleaner, perpetual vacuuming level of suckage. And not everybody's had the afforded opportunity of Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Bart Starr. I mean, God, it's incredible. I have a lot of friends from back home in the Midwest. I was Eastern Iowa, so everybody's essentially a Packers or Green Bay fan. Few Vikings and Chiefs fans sprinkled in there. But my whole life, Packers have had an elite quarterback. Like, legitimately an elite
whole life. They've had 3 quarterbacks in their franchise history. It's insane.
Yeah,
Speaking of spoiled, Bart Starr to Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, there's 45 years of quarterbacks right there.
Unbelievable.
Insane.
It's unbelievable. But the law of averages. One day you too, Smokey, will know the pain of not having a great quarterback. And I feel bad for those Vikings, Bears, Lions fans, because what do you even do? But that time is coming, I think. I really doubt that you will roll Yahtzee again on your 4th consecutive roll. Just doesn't happen. I mean, anything can happen in the theory of the multiverse, I guess.
They're gonna go the San Antonio Spurs way and have David Robinson tank for a year and pair up Tim Duncan next to him. So they end up dishing Aaron Rodgers, stinking it up with Jordan Love, and then they get Bryce Young. Damn it!
I mean, that's good. That's good business. I don't know why more teams don't try to do that. I guess it's
Ruben coming in here with the stars talking about what we all think about Drew Lock. It's like if only, man, he's got such a good arm. If only we could clean this up. Man, this guy throws 100 miles an hour. If only he could throw strikes consistently. Yeah, that's a big part of it. The decision making, all that type of stuff. Again, that's what becomes so hard to scout quarterbacks, because I think y'all have heard me say this before. I was using the story the other day. It's like I consider scouting like treasure hunting. And if I'm chopping my way through the marshes in Mobile, Alabama, and I come up on a football field and I see Jamarcus Russell throwing a football, I just found the Holy Grail. I just saw it. That's it. 17-year-old Jamarcus Wilson was good enough that he ended up a number 1 overall pick without doing a lick. I mean, he was good in college. He ended up number 1 for a reason. But he didn't work at all.
Yep.
But physically, the most physically gifted quarterback I've seen in my 25 years of doing this was Jamarcus Russell.
Yep.
But you can't scout here and you can't scout here.
Yep. That's why I am again, we can't exactly scout that, but you can hear it's hearsay, no doubt. But what's the one thing
the phrase I use on that is they say you can't measure someone's heart, but you can definitely tell if he's got one or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then the work ethic and all that type of stuff, that comes into it. You have to have enough talent to make it this level. Forget all this. So, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work, that type of stuff. No. You got to have enough talent to make it to that level, period. But then how do you separate yourself?
Yeah, and for me, the big thing that I'm looking for in my quarterbacks is, and this is just maybe the Last Dance is made too much of an impact on me. But if my quarterback isn't the most competitive son of a gun you've ever seen in your entire life, they're not going to be good enough for me, probably. Like if Jay Cutler had half of a heart, he could have been challenging for one of the top 5 quarterbacks in football during his time, but he, just really didn't have his heart in it by reports out there. But like John Elway, John Elway, had quarterbacks over for pool all the time when he was a player in Denver. He lost one game at home. Guess what he did? He sold his pool table and got a new one because that old one was cursed and he couldn't have it. That's the level of petty competitiveness I want. Kobe Bryant there at 3 a.m. shooting hoops, challenging everybody one-on-one, forcing them to be better. That's what I want. I mean, he's okay. I know you're not the biggest Kobe guy, but like I need a psychopath quarterback
I
who
don't mind
Peyton Manning
that,
does
but
that too.
Kobe didn't necessarily challenge his guys to get better. He challenged his teammates to prove that he was better than them. It marked more of insecurity than
Yeah.
competition,
Well, Michael
from the
Jordan
day
too,
he
some of
entered the
that.
league,
Michael Jordan, a little
which
bit of that
it
too.
drove him, but
Yeah.
I would like to see him be a tennis player instead of a
Yep.
basketball player, honestly.
Yeah. Cool Zay coming in here with how many Broncos fans does it take to change a light bulb? I got an answer to this one. 0. Because all the fans would say, the circumstances aren't right. Maybe if we just wait a little bit longer, that light bulb will turn on.
Day
Boom.
games.
All right, guy.
Day games. Now, Michael is in here at 10:23, and I can't find it in the stream. I can't find it. I got Ruben was the last one, and 10:21, and then a lot of YouTube, and I don't see any of the Facebook guys in the stream after that until I get to Wyatt at 10:26. That's the one I'm looking for because he came in with another 5,000 stars.
Yep.
Michael,
is this it?
killing it. I don't see an email notification, Michael. I haven't gotten one since we started the show. SKINNEDY@gmail.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much, Michael. This one flashes to me though. So this is the biggest super chat I've ever seen on one of our shows. This is stupid. I don't even know what to say. No more ifs are waiting next year. The Broncos deserve a quarterback to lead this team back to the playoffs. T. Farf, the closer.
If you're watching the show or listening afterwards, we got 200 people. TFARF stands for the Trade for Aaron Rodgers Fund. I'm almost ready to make it FTFARF, F and trade for Aaron Rodgers Fund. Just awesome, guys.
Thank you so much, Ethan. And I know you're over there across the pond with everything that's going on right now. Not to make this political, but it is a humanitarian issue. So at its core. So been thinking about, I woke up this morning thinking like, I hope everything's okay over there. I know it's the other side of Europe that's being impacted, but thinking of everybody there and hope you're doing well and secure and safe. But my God, Ethan, that's, I guess you're doing okay because, oh my God, 400 smackaroos. That's incredible. I don't even know what to say.
That's the thing. And what he says, I know he means it to heart. It's like, no more waiting for next year. And again, like I put it in the chat yesterday, because the just draft a quarterback. Just eat your vegetables. You'll be healthy. Just go to college. You'll have a job. No, you can't just draft a quarterback. They have to be available. You have to have the pick. So much has to go right for you to get that guy. Aaron Rodgers is that guy.
Yep.
And you can get him for a couple of years. Again, Broncos country deserves a quarterback. I'm not a big fan of the word deserves.
Yeah.
It's entitlement. But you are certainly used to a much higher level of play of quarterback than you've had in the last several years. Yeah. And Aaron Rodgers fits in with what you have become accustomed to in your life as a Broncos fan at the quarterback position with 2 of the all-time greats.
Yeah. Ethan's one of the all-time greats now. God, I don't even know what to say. That's
why I said, send me a picture. I'm going to put you on the Broncos for Breakfast banner.
Amen.
And Michael. And Jacob and Mark Schrader. It's gonna be our Mount Rushmore right across there.
Yeah, God bless you. That's incredible. And to your point about Aaron Rodgers coming here, a lot of people looking to, why would you bring him in? There's no guarantees. The 2 last Super Bowl winners here, in the NFL, one in their first year on a new team in a new system as a veteran quarterback. That is. There's some. How long does it take to implement the offense? It takes a little bit of time. Blah blah blah. Maybe you're year 1, you're not hitting the ground running. Tom Brady wins a ring first year in Tampa Bay. All new guys around him. Plays incredibly. Does great second year too. They honestly had a good shot this year if their if their offense
Where
didn't
did
suffer so many
where did
injuries.
Leftwich end up?
He's back at Tampa.
Okay, as offensive coordinator.
Yep.
I'll be really surprised if he's not a head coach next year.
Yeah, I mean, if he's stuck with Kyle Trask or Blaine Gabbert as his quarterback, it might be hard in that scenario, but we'll see. And the other one is obviously Matt Stafford. He's never won a single playoff game. He's old. He's broken. He's overrated. Trade him to the Rams, and boom,
Yeah,
1 year
and Barry
wins a Super
Sanders
Bowl.
and Calvin Johnson sucked too.
Yeah. Yep.
There's something to be said for it being the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
I wasn't willing to give Tom Brady a ton of credit for 28-3 because it was against the Falcons.
Yep.
It was the Falcons. We use that term as a verb here or as an adjective. We falcon things up around here.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, Matt Stafford, again, one of the most talented arms. Y'all have heard me say it before. I compare his arm talent to Elway and Manning. And I sent you that clip. Aaron Rodgers was talking about, this was 3 years ago, talking about that guy number 9 in Detroit does some special things with the football.
Yeah, absolutely you are. Michael also on our Mount Rushmore. Sending big stars for support for Broncos for breakfast. Yes, you are, Michael. We appreciate
yes,
it.
You are. And
also always appreciate Michael after the fact. After the show,
we started this thing almost a year ago. It was probably the end of March last year. So we're coming up on a year. We'll have to look it up. We'll figure out when our 1 year anniversary was. We weren't sure what kind of support we've gotten. Blown away my wildest projections. Anything I could do with guys like y'all. So we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, really, really, really incredible. Something else here, bringing it back to Rodgers. Sorry, we're obsessed. We're going to continue to talk about it because it beats. Again, you could feel the mood change in here when we started talking about paying Mitch Trubisky, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston. Are you a Lord of the Rings nerd, Scott? Was that a big time for you?
It's been a while, but I've read the books all the books several times.
Did you ever watch the movies?
I did.
Do you remember the scene where Bilbo accuses Gandalf of taking the ring and he's like, Bilbo Baggins, I'm not trying to rob you. I'm trying to help you. And the room gets dark and whatnot. That's what happened when we started talking about paying Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Mitch Trubisky. It's like just the mood gets cloudy and angry and it departs when we're talking about getting Rodgers. So that's why we kind of do it too. Final point about Aaron here for me. He's been a back-to-back MVP, 4-time MVP. I think only trailing Peyton Manning for all-time MVPs earned in a career. Voter fatigue is a real thing in the NFL. And I don't think, unless he's, again, by far and away the best player in football next year, quarterback-wise, I think winning 3 years in a row in Green Bay, not as likely. Coming to Denver, changing the narrative, all the eyeballs, seeing what's happening in Denver. Oh, this AFC West quarterbacks, Mahomes versus Herbert versus Carr. Think you got a good chance to win a third MVP in a row there, which completely changes your legacy, in my opinion, as well, or adds to it.
Legacy set, as far as I'm concerned. Now, does he just want to keep building on the legend? He's already a legend. Does he want to build on that? That's fine. And Big Kid Rook comes in and says Aaron's in contract negotiations with the Green Bay Packers, and he's using the Broncos to get the biggest contract ever. It's always about the money. Oh yeah, I always say, whenever you want to ask somebody, try and predict what they're going to do, or find a reason for why they did something, find out who benefits and how much they were getting. And you're going to have your answer 99% of the time. When I was recruiting publishers to networks or, trying to hire people, I said, take my phone call at the very least to let me get you a raise. By you talking to me, I will get you a raise. And frankly, in a zero-sum game here, that actually hurts the Packers. That means I might be able to go get Devontae Adams. I know, bad example. You're not going to go get Devontae Adams. But it means that they can't do some other things. And the key is, if you don't get Rodgers, okay, what's plan B? Are you going to have enough to make your team better next year? I don't have much doubt that the Denver Broncos will be a better team next year with or without Aaron Rodgers.
Never say never. Who knows? Because you're going to have to. Broncos have a lot of holes on that front seven that they're going to have to repair, and you have a lot of turnover. I am curious to see what it looks like. And everybody's like, oh, Mike Munchak didn't make this Broncos offensive line top 10. He also raised them from consistent bottom 5 offensive line to league average. And you're plugging in Cam Fleming, Calvin Anderson, Netane Moody, Quinn Miners coming from Wisconsin Whitewater, and the offensive line doesn't completely fall apart. That's insane to me. So I want to see what it looks like first before I would declare that they're not going to be as bad as they were last year, because who knows with this coaching staff.
Well, they're at 7-10, and frankly, as bad a watch.
Yeah. Okay.
They're bad. So even if you go 5-12, it's gonna be more fun to watch. It's gonna be a more exciting team. There's gonna be more explosive plays. It's not going to be suffer ball,
Yep.
as we call it sometimes in international football, where you're just trying to take the air out of the ball and try and eke a win. You watch the Atlanta Falcons play, it was suffer ball. Let's work, let's grind out the possessions and see if we can't get a one-score game at the end. It was suffer ball.
Yeah.
It's not going to be suffer ball next year. You're going to enjoy the Denver Broncos next year.
It'll be more volatile. There'll probably be more highs, but there might be some more lows as well. Haller Brosurf knows what I'm talking about here. Nick, don't take me for some conjurer of cheap tricks. Gandalf's the dude. I love Gandalf. Am I clicking that or are you clicking that?
I click.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll take my hands off.
I click on this one because I like it. Because, it's like, I'm tired of this conversation. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about Aaron Rodgers. I'm tired of this. If you don't do anything, you got the same conversation next year, except Drew Lock isn't under contract.
Yep.
That's the difference. Yep. You're still talking about what are you going to do at quarterback? Well, depending on the record, you might know exactly what you're going to do at quarterback. It's either going to be Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. And also, then, do I give a San Francisco-like deal to move up in the draft? And is there somebody up there with a quarterback that they don't want to take the guy?
Yep.
Because if the Jacksonville Jaguars are 1-2 again, they're going to feel pretty good about Trevor Lawrence. They'd be willing to come down. They'd take a big package to move down. But who else is it? The Atlanta Falcons? If they're sitting at 1 or 2, they're taking a quarterback. They're not trading out of that for nothing. Yep. So again, the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are sitting there at 1 and 2. They're taking a quarterback. Colts, quarterback. So not only do you have to find somebody, you have to find a willing trade partner that's going to be in the top 2 or 3 picks.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, final thing I want to get into here before we get on out, because we are at an hour. According to Dianna Russini's tweet, again, she said that there's a resolution that's approaching here really soon. And we're going to find out about Rodgers here in the next few days. However, the other part is there's multiple teams that have offers on the table. Haven't even talked about that yet. So obviously the Broncos are one of those teams. No secret. There's
one of our community members says that all the time. He's like, I don't know who it is. Put your hand up and I'll call you out. Even tonight, if you're watching this and watch it later, say, hey, Scott, that's me. He says, I'm on all these I'm on 6 or 7 other Facebook pages, and they're all saying the same stuff that we are. Again, it's not just the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. But my question to you is, who are these other teams? Who would make sense for calling in on Aaron Rodgers to try to get him right now to trade with him? So the Colts are one of them. That's one of the teams that makes sense. They have the cap room. They don't really have the picks that they can compete with the Broncos.
They'd have future picks. They do have future picks. They don't have the one this year, which they would probably want, but they got $40 million. They got a playoff roster with a quarterback that they don't want anymore. Yep. Colts make sense. US Dave says Tampa makes sense.
That's another one that makes sense to me. I think Tampa Bay would make a lot of sense.
Oh, man. New Orleans isn't going to have the cap room either.
No, they're not.
Washington, Carolina. I wouldn't wish Carolina on anybody. Steelers, and I like the Steelers out of that 3 from Trevor.
Yep.
Jets, no way.
Yep.
The other one, no way. No way it'd be the Jets. There, I just made it the Jets. I never talk in absolutes. The last time I did was like 2005. I said this kid wasn't going to go to Georgia Tech because he wasn't going to qualify. He signed with Georgia Tech, and he's the only non-qualifier they've signed in 50 years.
Well, that's
I don't
something.
Talk in absolutes. Patriots, no, he ain't. No, Patriots have their guy. Oh yeah, and the other talk is the 49ers.
He's a San Francisco guy. He's would love to go there. That was one team apparently last year.
Vegas.
Prior to the draft, Vegas makes some sense too. Miami makes some sense. Titans make some sense. Luckily for all of us here in Broncos country, not many teams have the offensive infrastructure in place surrounding the quarterback position in tandem with the draft capital and cap space to make this happen. And there's a reason that the Broncos, we're talking about the draft here for 2022, like, oh, Broncos could use an edge rusher. Broncos could use a linebacker. Broncos could use a safety. Broncos could use a defensive tackle. It's because the Broncos in Elway and under Peyton here, the last 3 draft cycles have invested insane, way more on the offensive side of the ball with the draft picks. So right now you have a pretty good infrastructure set up around the quarterback. So I think it makes a lot of sense. There's a reason that people keep connecting Denver to that for that reason. So we'll see. And we need, Trevor says it best here. Scott said Rodgers is never going to come to Denver to play quarterback.
I never talk in absolutes. I never say never because Weird stuff happens when I start
Yep.
doing this. That's why I'm a good advisor when it comes to gambling. As soon as my own money comes out, man, when I learned you could win by losing in craps, I made a killing.
Yeah.
I made a killing betting against no, we're gonna lose. Made a killing. And then the craps gods figured out I was fooling them the next day and I lost it all back. So it says, and Big Kid Rook, this is the last one, then we got to get out of here.
Yep.
Can Drew Lock progress this year with Hackett bringing the same offense as Rodgers? The easy answer for that is yes. He can absolutely progress. The bigger question is, can he progress enough that you want to put him as your quarterback for the next 10 years? That's the bigger question. That's the one that's much more doubtful. Yep. Can he progress this year? Yes. Can he be better? Yes. Will he be the guy in 2023? Probably not.
Yep. Probably not. Drew Lock, I think, will progress next year, and I think that, this will be his 4th year in the NFL. I honestly think that having Teddy Bridgewater there last year was good for Lock in his career because he needed to work on some of the basics in football and protecting the football. I mean, again, the first thing Broncos' new offensive coordinator, Justin Outen came in and said when they talked to him, it was either first or second thing. He didn't talk about putting explosive plays. He didn't talk about scoring more points. He didn't talk about the red zone. He said, number one thing, protecting the football and winning the turnover battle, because teams who win the turnover battle +1 win the game 72% of the time. Teams who win the turnover battle +2, 82% of the time. We've been screaming that on this show forever. It's not like a novel concept, but that was the big thing with Drew Lock. If you don't protect the ball, you're not going to see the field. It's just period. So I think that, and to his credit, again, I've said it 100 times, the final 3 games, while he only had 1 touchdown, he did protect the football. So
he protected the football, but he didn't move the offense either. There are drops here. Yes, I know. But his quarterback rating was still in the 80s. He was still a 35th something quarterback. Again, we haven't seen it. Show me.
Yep.
I'll listen. I'm open-minded, but I haven't seen it yet. On that note, let's get
it out of here. All right, unless somebody comes in and drops a massive super chat and strings us along, because that's how life works sometimes. You guys can follow Scott and I on Twitter. Scott is at Scout Kennedy. I am at Nick Kendell, MHH. Also follow us at Huddle Up Pod and at Mile High Huddle. If you guys are on Facebook, make sure that you are heading over to Facebook and joining our group there at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod, as well as /Mile High Huddle. All the streams go live on there as well. So we appreciate that. If you are on Facebook or YouTube, please, above me here, up here, please click the heart react, the like react. We have a crying react from Brian Whiteman. I don't know why that. Mike coming in with the laugh react. I don't know. Give me the care react. I don't see any care emojis up here. We need some cares. Also, if you are joining us on YouTube today, please subscribe, like, and share wherever you're on social media, Twitter, Twitch, saying, hey, these guys are a couple dinguses, but so am I. And we relate. They made a Lord of the Rings reference in this show, and now I love them forever. So that kind of thing, whatever. Or if we're not your cup of tea, you can share the channel because maybe you love Chad and Zach. I don't know. Also, if you love us or you're enjoying the shows and you haven't done so yet, please go to iTunes, Apple iTunes, or wherever you listen to your podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you're not in a position to leave a super chat because, times are tough, or you just, you don't think we're worth it, but you want to get a comment read in here, put a comment, put a question or a topic that you want us to discuss on the reviews, and we will be getting to that here shortly in the next few shows. Also, guys, make sure you're heading over to Scott's channel at youtube.com/C/Scott Kennedy. We've been going live on Wednesdays. It's been a lot of fun talking football. We covered Daniel Jeremiah's draft yesterday. So a lot of, God, what a crazy mock. I mean, we're talking about the lack of consensus in this year's draft process. And that was probably the most jumbled mock draft that we've seen, which is great because we're getting out of the groupthink, but it's going to be a wild process.
The 2 big ones for me on that were Trevor Penning at 6 and Devontae Wyatt all the way up in the teens. Those were probably my 2 biggest surprises.
How about Thibodeau falling to 8? Or only 2 quarterbacks?
That before, though. I've seen that a couple times.
It's happening more and more.
That's the highest I've seen. That's the highest I've seen Trevor Penning, and that's the highest I've seen Devontae Wyatt.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, guys, it's great to see you guys. We love all. Oh, it's Jacob Roper saying I'm back on YouTube. Thanks, Jacob, Curly Head Gang. It's good to see you. You guys are great. Make sure you're tuning in tonight to hang out with Chad and Zach over on Huddle Up. Tomorrow's Friday, so we won't be here, but we'll be back with the Broncos for breakfast on Monday. Maybe we'll have some news at the quarterback position. Maybe we'll be going full steam ahead into the NFL Combine. Maybe we'll do some Combine talk as well. Either way, there's going to be some information, and I'm guessing given the meeting of the minds and whatnot, that we're going to get some information coming out for the Rodgers situation and whatnot with the combine, because everybody's rubbing elbows there. The close proximity forces action. You're talking about the tampering period for free agency. That tampering's happening in the bleeping combine. These agents are meeting with these teams. It's happening. So Jeremy coming in and saying, stay safe. Pray for those living in conflict. We are blessed to be able to chat about such a unsubstantial thing as football. Have a great weekend, everyone. Yep, you're right. We are filling in the void here with something that is meaningful to us, but meaningless in the grand scheme of things. But we enjoy it, so therefore it has inherent meaning to us. But you're right. Pray for those living through conflict. It's a humanitarian crisis going right now. Thoughts and prayers with everybody being impacted by this, loved ones directly impacted. It's the world's a scary place sometimes, but I do like that we have this little, don't want to use the word safe space to upset anybody, but this community here where we can tune out the outside world and just talk football for a little bit. We can disagree on something as petty as the future of Drew Lock when it doesn't really have massive implications on the lives of other people. So you guys are awesome. We appreciate you so much. Scott, I appreciate you as well. And major appreciation. I don't know if you have anything you want to say to the chat before we get on out.
No, just Trevor was asking about streaming on Facebook. I do stream it on Facebook. I stream it on my you can see the Facebook feed in there on my Scott Kennedy Sports. I actually like if you're joining on the All Falcons ATL that I put on the link there, because that Facebook page is much closer to being monetized. So again, like YouTube, y'all helping me get to YouTube monetization. I'm knocking on the door of like 700,000 views this month. So
wow.
It was important to get that done before I went to the combine, and y'all helped me get there, and it's really taken off. Appreciate you so much.
Yeah, guys, we love you. Lots of love. Smack my head. Choose kindness, choose compassion. Go Broncos.